So let us start. The topic for today is self-directed learning, what, why, and how. So I'm going to keep it very brief, just touching upon the basic principles. And then in the next sessions, whenever we have, we can build upon this basic idea. I'm unable to advance the slide. Just give me a minute. Yes. So I cannot not start, without giving the example of Eklavya. We all know the story of Eklavya from Mahabharat. एंड वो फेमस इसलिए हुए क्योंकि उसने अपना अंगूठा काट के बिना किसी झिझक के अपने गुरु द्रोणाचार्य को दे दिया, who had not even actually formally trained him. So although he is famous for that, being an excellent student, so selfless, there are so many other things that we learn from the story of Eklavya in the context of self-directed learning. So what do we learn? First of all, formal instructions are not the only way of learning things. He did not receive any formal training from Dronacharya. He just had a statue of him from which he drew inspiration. So teacher's role could also be to inspire, facilitate, and give broad directions. You need to love and be passionate about what you are learning. And learning mainly comes from one's own hard work, dedication, and practice. So essentially, all learning is self-learning. कोई हमें as such literally सिखा नहीं सकता है. Although we receive instruction from our teachers, our guides, from various resources, लेकिन ultimately that learning happens in our mind only. अगर हम नहीं चाहते सीखना तो कोई कितना भी सिखाने की कोशिश करे, we will not learn. So no, the teacher cannot automatically transfer meaning and understanding into our mind. Hannah, we have to construct meaning, we have to listen to directions, we have to read the books, and we have to make our own learning. So as such, all learning is self-learning. It is just a varying degree of facilitation and assistance that we get from others around us, from our teachers, and so on. So with that, what exactly is self-directed learning? If we say that all learning is self-learning, then what is self-directed learning? So Malcolm Knowles, who is the father, the pioneer of this concept, defines it as a process in which individuals take initiative with or without the help of others in diagnosing their own learning needs, formulating goals, identifying human and material resources for learning, choosing and implementing appropriate learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. So this definition suggests that it is a process. It is not a one-time thing. It is a process. And although a lot of things have to be done by the individual himself or herself, it is mentioned in the very definition itself that it could be with or without the help of others. So self-directed learning का मतलब ये नहीं है कि खुद से कर लो, खुद से ही कर लो. It can involve and it must involve a lot of help from others. Another definition says that SDL is any increase in knowledge, skill, accomplishment, or personal development that an individual selects and brings about by his or her own efforts using any method in any circumstances at any time. Right? So, ये हमने सबने किया है, not only in the context of medical education, but also maybe in other skills. कि हमने फॉर एग्जाम्पल बेकिंग सीखा या गाना सीखा या पोएट्री सीखा, ड्राइविंग सीखा, स्विमिंग सीखा, so many things, any increase in our capability which we select that we want to learn this, and under any circumstances using our own efforts we learn that. That's an example of self-directed learning. जैसे कोविड टाइम पे हम सब ने ये जूम प्लेटफॉर्म सीख लिया, so that was self-directed. We diagnosed that learning need कि अभी हमको यही करना पड़ेगा, and now look at us, we are so proficient. COVID is gone, but this is still there. So ultimately, if we look at these definitions, and even the literature says that no definition is complete, and it's actually not appropriate to restrict SDL philosophy into a definition. because it is a skill set, right? It is not a teaching strategy. It is not something, like a self study, but it is a philosophy. It is a skill set in which we learn how to learn and develop it as a habit of mind. That we diagnose our own learning needs and make it a habit to be self-aware, self-monitor, find the resources, evaluate whether we have learned it properly or not, and then move on to the next learning. Now, this, in order to be able to do this, what it requires, it's a lot of things. I have listed a few here, but it could be much more. No, self-awareness. If I am communicating with patients in my psychiatry OPD and most of my patients are going dissatisfied, I need to be able to sense that. I should be aware that there's something deficient in my communicating style. If I do not have that awareness, I will not diagnose my learning need, and not every time people around me are going to point it out to me. Self-awareness of not only knowing what to learn, but how much is required and where to stop. Where to stop is an important aspect of self-awareness. Sometimes students decide that they want to learn a topic, and then they go so deep into it and they spend so much time behind it that other topics are left out. So that kind of a sense of awareness of where to stop and how much to go in depth, manage the time, all that is also a component of SDL. Not only that, but reflection, metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about our thinking about our strengths and limitations. Sometimes we overestimate our skills, sometimes we underestimate ourselves. So that sort of skill to know where we are lacking, and critical thinking to be able to evaluate. Suppose मुझे सीखना है कि अच्छी एकदम सॉफ्ट इडली कैसे बनाते हैं, then I should be able to evaluate it also and have a standard of evaluation कि कैसे how will I find out that I have reached that level. Will I invite some guests and take their feedback, or I'll myself taste and find out, or I'll try to sell it in a restaurant and see how much I can sell. So how, not only how I learn, but how will I evaluate whether I have learned adequately or not, and what sense to make of the feedback that I receive. All that will require critical thinking. So in short, SDL is a skill set to be able to learn how to learn and ensure that we have learned what we needed to learn. So fine, with this understanding, we move on to why. Why is there a need for self-directed learning? क्यों झंझट में पढ़ना है? टीचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स है, कोचिंग क्लासेस है, बहुत सारे ट्यूटोरियल्स है, सिखाने वाले सिखा रहे हैं, सीखने वाले सीख रहे हैं, तो ये सेल्फ डायरेक्शन की आफ्टर ऑल जरूरत क्या है? बिकॉज ऑफ एनएमसी? इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ये एनएमसी ने मैंडेटरी बनाया है? तो सेल्फ डायरेक्टेड लर्निंग तो एकलव्य के टाइम से चल रहा है, लेकिन अभी मैंडेटरी अभी अभी एनएमसी में बना है. सो इट इज बिकम द न्यू buzzword, not only in India but internationally. I just found out while I was preparing for this talk that there is an international society of self-directed learning, international journal of self-directed learning, and annually there are symposia of self-directed learning. Of course, this is not restricted to medical education. This is for self-directed learning in general. And this is in existence since 1986. So these are the things why self-directed learning is so important. It is so much in vogue, and so much the importance has been realized. But the underlying philosophy behind why it is so important is one of humanism, which says that each human being is unique, and each human being has unique learning needs, learning styles, and learning outcomes, and learning paces, and so on. So if each individual is unique, then the person should be given the freedom to be self-directed and self-regulated. So it is by way of providing that freedom to the learners and not being authoritarian in our teaching processes. Another reason is that society and work life need more self-directed learners. For example, I was going through some articles for mentoring, and it was regarding feedback and perceptions of some students कि बच्चों को क्या मेंटरिंग की जरूरत है, नो व्हाट डू दे थिंक दे रिक्वायर. और उसमें एक दो रिस्पॉन्सेस ऐसे थे. Some students wrote that why don't faculty members prepare schedules for us which we can follow so that we study appropriately for exams. So they requested their mentors or teachers to prepare study schedules for them. There were another set of students who requested ki we tend to spend a lot of time in our social media, scrolling social media on our phones. So why don't our wardens, hostel wardens, have a check on our screen time? So imagine if the students have been so dependent during their school life on being directed by others कि वो खुद का स्क्रीन टाइम या खुद का स्टडी शेड्यूल भी बनाने के लिए दे आर नॉट कॉन्फिडेंट एंड दे आर रिक्वेस्टिंग दैट अदर्स डू इट फॉर देम. इमेजिन अगर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन में, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में, सोसाइटी में हर जगह लोग ऐसे होंगे कि उनको कोई अदर पर्सन बताए कि उनको क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. Then how difficult would work life become? How difficult would everything be? Functionality will be affected and it will be such a chaos. Therefore, it's a need of the society that people become self-directed and they learn things which they need to learn on their own. Some other aspects are that when you take initiative, better and more learning happens. नहीं, हमें भी तो एक sense of pride feel होता है कि वो I learned this on my own. Right? You feel good about yourself. And ultimately, it brings about to the individual, it brings about a sense of independence, maturity, and life satisfaction. So this is why overall, not only because of NMC, but because there is a requirement in society and because there are so many advantages of being self-directed, we have to introduce this in the curriculum. Now we come to how do we do this? How will the transition happen from teacher directed to learner directed? So teacher directed में कैसा होता है? Teachers will think, what do the students need to learn? How will I know when they have learned it? How will I monitor their progress? And how will I help them learn it? Whereas in learner directed, the students will themselves think, what do I need to learn? How will I know when I've learned it? How will I monitor my own progress? And how will I learn what I want to learn? So the responsibility shifts from the teacher to the learner. Does it mean self-study? Thank God they learn by themselves. हाँ चलो self-directed learning के इतने hours है वो तो खुद करेंगे अपने आप. Is it that? No, it is absolutely not that. We have to help the students transition from being spoon-fed the subject-related information to becoming self-directed, in which they are more committed, more disciplined, and they manage their own learning process. So teachers do not have to be teachers as such, dispensers of information, so to say, but they have to become facilitators. They have the responsibility of providing an opportunity in which student can become self-directed, student can learn and shape their skills of being self-directed. And after providing that opportunity, we have to sort of stimulate them to be able to do that. So when we say that STL is a skill set, if we think of any skill training, it does require hand holding of varying degree depending on the stage of the learner. मतलब जब हम बात करते हैं कि self-directed learning, then teachers say that at various institutes they just say that self-directed है तो मतलब उनको खुद को ही अपना टॉपिक चूज करना है और खुद ही लर्न करना है, खुद ही इवेल्युएट करना है. We just have to ensure that they do it. But no, it is not like that. if it's a skill that has to be inculcated and mastered, then we cannot just ask them to learn the skill by themselves. और रातों रात ऐसे नहीं हो जाएगा. कोई भी skill सिखाने में there has to be an initial hand holding. When we have little children, we want to make them independent, autonomous. तो हम धीरे धीरे करते हैं. That's how parenting should be. That initially you nurture them, you provide them with things, but gradually you make them independent such that they don't need you. At one point of time, they are independent, they are autonomous. So in this picture, you can see that in the background, a child is still learning to walk, requires hand holding and walking. अभी इस child को हम बोलेंगे कि चलो साइकिल चलाना सीख जाओ, self directed. तो possible ही नहीं है. The child will feel abandoned, the child will feel cheated, the child will feel threatened, right? अभी आगे के उसमें there is this small girl who can learn, but still not so self-directed. So father has to hold from behind, support where she wobbles, धीरे धीरे nudge करते करते ultimately she will learn to drive on her own. So she is at a stage which requires a little bit of support, encouragement, inspiration, and guidance. Whereas, if it's a teenager who doesn't know how to ride a bicycle, he may just decide on his own कि मुझे ये सीखना है, और अपने दोस्त को ले जाके कहीं जाके या खुद साइकिल लेके ही ग्राउंड में गोल गोल घुमाते घुमाते he'll learn on his own. So depending on the stage of the learner, our responsibility is to push him or her gently towards the next stage. बहुत ही gradual ये process होगा, and self-directed learning does not mean that overnight the students will become self-directed just because NMC has included this in the curriculum and we want it to happen. We have to do hand holding depending on in which stage the learner is, how dependent they are, and how much potential they have of becoming independent. So these are the stages of self-directedness. When I said at what stage our learner is, Gross has defined these 4 stages from dependent to interested, involved, and self-directed. So those students who are dependent, the teacher has to be an authority or a coach, and you have to do the usual lecture with feedback and overcoming deficiencies and resistance. But in order to push this dependent student to the next stage, what we can do is, in our lectures, we can do a little bit of thinking aloud so that they know what we are thinking when we are delivering content. So they'll at least become aware of that cognitive process. Or else we can give them, some control over the design and content of the next lecture. Okay, how would you like it to be? So giving them some moments of decision making, some thinking process. So gradually they'll become interested. Now, interested, if the students are interested, the teacher has to be a guide or a motivator. So here you can give an inspiring lecture plus guided discussion. Teacher-led discussion can really stimulate these students further into the stage of being involved. So once you start discussing, they are interested, so they'll provide inputs and they'll become more involved. So that's how you move into the next stage in which the students are involved already. So teacher here is the facilitator. You can treat the student as an equal. The discussions can be led by students now. You can have seminars, group projects, and things like that. And the final stage is of a self-directed learner in which the teacher is just a consultant or a delegator of work. And classic examples are internship, dissertation, individual work, or self-directed study groups. So here the participants, the students take full responsibility of their own learning, and the teacher is only a consultant. So these are the 4 stages. And when we are in a classroom, what happens is there is a mix of students in all these 4 stages. So we do not know which strategy to follow. I mean, what to do. Some are extremely dependent, some are extremely self-directed, some are interested. and it's very difficult to match the level with uh, a group of students when there's a mix of all these kinds of stages. That's why it is ideally suited, self-directed learning is ideally suited for small groups, because in that, it's easier to address the needs to some extent. Also, in a small group, you can have two who are dependent, two who are self-directed, and one who is interested. So then they will stimulate each other, they will nudge each other. So then it will become very fruitful. In a large group, if you have a mix, you do not know how to structure your lecture. But in a small group, you can give a moderately challenging task so that the self-directed ones will take more responsibility and the dependent ones can learn from them. Those will provide as role models and they'll become more interested and involved. Or another strategy could be to have different groups of students at different stages so that it's more uniform and give an easier task to those who are in stage 1 or 2 and a more difficult challenging task to those who are in stage 3 or 4. So managing this is one of the challenging tasks in SDL when we do it for a batch of 150, 250 and so on. But we have to be very careful, क्योंकि अगर डिपेंडेंट बच्चों को हमने बहुत ज्यादा चैलेंजिंग टास्क दे दिया, दे आर गोइंग टू बी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, दे गोइंग टू फील अबैंडन्ड. एंड ऑन द कॉन्ट्ररी, बहुत जो सेल्फ डायरेक्टेड है, ऑटोनॉमस है, उनको हमने ऐसे एकदम स्ट्रिक्ट कुछ ऐसे प्रोटोकॉल में बांध दिया, सो दे विल आल्सो फील वेरी रेस्ट्रिक्टेड. कोई जैसे टीनेजर बच्चा है जो खुद ही ऑटोनॉमस है, अपनी फ्रीडम में बिलीव करता है, बहुत केपेबल है, उसको हम अचानक ही रूल्स रेगुलेशंस दिखा देंगे तो वो तो या तो रिबेलियन बन जाएगा या तो फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाएगा. So similarly, we have to match the stage with the kind of task that we give. Now, what process we need to follow? So we know that NMC has dedicated SDL time for each subject, including ATCOM. And these SDL sessions have to be interspersed in between the regular teaching learning schedule. So which topics for SDL are chosen by departments. And once the students are familiar with the process of SDL, they can be involved in selection of topics that would be making them more self-directed. That now they are themselves choosing the topics for self-directed learning. But this can happen only once they are familiar with what actually happens in these sessions. So to begin with, the departments may have to choose that these topics will be for self-directed learning. Now, remember that the essence here is to inculcate the skill of self-direction while using the topic. So the focus in these sessions should not be exclusively on getting that topic learned, but on inculcating the skill of self-direction. Matlab how well they are formulating their objectives, how well they are following the resources, how well they are evaluating themselves. This is the purpose of the SDL sessions and not कि इन्होंने abdominal TB पढ़ लिया कि नहीं खुद से, या स्टूडेंट डॉक्टर पेशेंट रिलेशनशिप समझ लिया कि नहीं. ऑफ कोर्स वो होना चाहिए, लेकिन द प्राइमरी फोकस शुड बी on inculcating the skill of self-direction. And it is done in small groups of students. Now, the actual steps to be followed. See, there are 7 components of self-directed learning described by Malcolm Knowles. So, these 7 steps, 7 components are: educator as facilitator, identify learning needs, develop objectives, commit to a learning contract, identify resources, implement the process, and evaluation of the process. So the first 4 things can happen in session 1, which is of 60 minutes, जिसमें learning objectives banana or learning contract banana is the main task, right? And identifying the resources. So topic agar humne choose kiya hua hai, then what we need to do is help the students make the learning objectives and learning contracts. Now, learning contract is a commitment, a contract between teacher and student in which the students decide their learning objectives, they decide the resources through which they are going to learn what they are supposed to learn, the evidence that they will provide that they have learned it, how they will be assessed, and what they will do next. This kind of a commitment between uh, teacher and student written in a written form is called a learning contract. So this has to be developed in session 1, after which the resources have to be identified, whether they'll go to the library or they'll search the internet or they'll go to the skills lab or they will consult another expert or they will observe actual patients. Anything could be a resource depending on the learning objective. In the next intermediate period of 7 to 10 days, the students will be on their own in teams, in groups, and they will follow their learning process. And in session 2, which could again be of 60 to 120 minutes, evaluation of the process will happen, that what they have learned and how they have learned. Thus, we have 2 sessions and an intermediate period for each topic. So how do you introduce the topic in session 1? Either just as it is, or you could make it problem-based, case-based, experiential, or inquiry-based. It depends on you how innovative you want to make it, but keep it simple and effective. That this is what we have decided we need to learn. Now let us brainstorm on how we are going to do it. During the intermediate period, faculty members have to be available for assistance. Remember, we have to inculcate the skill of self-direction and we should not start mini lecturing. It is a very common thing that happens. We start telling them, we start providing them with resources and start spoon feeding them. Knowingly, unknowingly, वो एक हमारे अंदर ये होता है कि यार बता देते हैं उसको इतना क्या है. But we have to keep in mind that, we are here to teach them self-direction and not the topic. So allow and encourage teamwork and flexibility. Self-directed मतलब अकेले ही करना ऐसा नहीं है. They can work in teams and you can be flexible to modify the learning contract. For example, students आके बोलेंगे patients नहीं मिल रहे हैं, so you can allow some other resource. You can allow them to okay, what else can you do? You can review videos. So if they come up with some changes, you have to be flexible. ऐसा नहीं कि हमने जैसा decide किया था, we must stick to it, because making changes later allows you to reflect on what you decided, why it did not work, and what changes you had to make. Remember when you all presented your projects, this was one question asked कि how did it go? आपको क्या challenges आए? आपने कैसे, what changes did you make in your project because of the challenges? So it gives you an opportunity to reflect and learn from that, which is an important aspect of SDL. Therefore, you must allow some flexibility and you should allow teamwork and collaboration. And in session 2, there are open-ended questions and discussion. You can use, here also you can use various techniques, or you can keep it very simple. Fishbowl technique, jigsaw, quiz, crossword, MCQ, SAQ, OSCE, role play, reflections. This can also be actually how they will be evaluated for their learning in session 2 will be written in the learning contract which is made in session 1. So this will be pre-decided कि okay, हम सीखेंगे और कैसे सीखा हमें कैसे पता चलेगा. This is how. Now, an important, very important, not to be part of session 2 is evaluation of the process followed. So not only what you learned, but how you learned it. That is the crux of this session. कि आपने suppose abdominal TB पढ़ा, ठीक है, पढ़ा, कितना पढ़ा, कैसे पढ़ा, कितना आया, that is evaluated. So, it is on record, it is evaluated that you have learned it. But that's not what SDL is about. SDL is about how you managed your own learning. So this evaluation should also involve which resources did you follow, how was the team dynamic, what worked, what did not work, what could you have done differently to make this learning more effective, more effective in the given time period, things like that. So you also reflect on the learning process, not only on the learning outcome. So that was the process to follow. Now a little bit about the principles to follow. So while we do this, the principles that we follow are of giving a right mix of challenge and support and feedback. So if required, session 2 can be over 2 sessions. In the second session, you can keep a deeper reflection and feedback on what they did right and what they did not do right. मतलब हमारा एजेंडा ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि सेशन 1 में ऑब्जेक्टिव्स बना लिए, बीच में बच्चे जो करेंगे जैसा करेंगे ठीक है, they tried, and in session 2 whatever is left or whatever they have not learned correctly, we will teach them. No, this is the common mistake that happens कि चलो उन्होंने खुद कुछ तो ट्राई किया, अभी जो रह गया बचा कुचा वो हम उनको सिखा देंगे so that the topic is covered. This is very common mistake that happens. Natural tendency of teachers to ensure that the topic is learned. But here we are not teaching the topic, we are inculcating SDL skills. And therefore, we have to refrain from covering the topic, so to say, in the second session. We should use it for giving feedback and gently nudge towards more complex tasks and higher autonomy. So for example, बहुत ही dependent stage पे है students, we can give a task, we can give a problem in which, a patient is not, for example, a patient is not stopping to smoke. And what do we need to do to make the person quit smoking? So then the pathway could be as simple as reviewing some articles on smoking cessation, coming up with a plan and implementing it. Relatively straightforward. Which will make the students interested कि हाँ ठीक है हम ये खुद कर पाए, so now let us go further. Whereas if the students are already autonomous, already interested or involved, अगर higher stages पे है, you could give them a task, or they can themselves think of a task in which, say for example, they saw 3 patients of atrial fibrillation with a high ventricular rate, of which 2 had hypotension, but the third one did not. So why was that the case? Now finding this out is relatively more complex than just learning about smoking cessation. So this way, you could, grade up your tasks depending on the stage of the learners and gradually push them towards more complex tasks requiring higher autonomy. Premature autonomy will make them feel abandoned and they may use quick fix. फिर वो लोग escape कर जाएंगे कि यार ये थोड़ी खुद सीख सकते हैं, जाने दो, ये नहीं सीखना, कर लेंगे कुछ जुगाड़. We do not want that, and therefore we have to decide a task which will just help them stretch their limits a little bit but will not tear them apart, right? So we have to facilitate the movement from chaos to cosmos, from dependence to independence. So choice can be liberating as well as debilitating. If we have a lot of choice, we can end up feeling confused and overwhelmed. कि oh my god, अभी ये करना है तो कैसे करेंगे? Suppose information overload भी हमसे manage नहीं होता है कभी-कभी. We do not know what to read, what not to read. There is so much available, and therefore information literacy is also one of the skills required for.
Ma'am, less than 1 minute is left, so we all will rejoin.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is a recurring meeting, we all will rejoin. So if it goes, then we all rejoin.
Okay. So we were talking about the principles to follow, in which I was saying that we have to facilitate the movement of students from chaos, in which they don't know कैसे पढ़ना है, क्या करना है, कहाँ से पढ़ना है, to cosmos. Cosmos means the beautiful order in which, the whole framework is beautifully ready. They know what to learn, how to learn, why to learn, and so on. And we have to move them from dependence to independence. Now, when they have this independence, they have a lot of choice, and choice can be debilitating, bewildering, confusing, and overwhelming. So we have to, navigate the whole process in which they do it. And how do I use my freedom is the competence to develop. कि if I have the freedom to decide what do I want to learn and how do I want to learn it, and if my decisions turn out to be right and they impact my learning process and learning outcome, I'm going to feel empowered, I'm going to feel competent, and that is going to encourage me to take more responsibility. So the whole idea here of whole underlying principle of SDL is to empower the students with the skill set so that they become lifelong learners. That is one of the roles envisioned by the NMC, erstwhile MCI, that they become lifelong learners. If they have to become that, they have to feel empowered and confident that they can decide their own learning goals and follow them up. So we have to get them there. That is the whole idea of having these SDL sessions. Having said that, the final words would be, do not restrict SDL to SDL hours. SDL hours है designated क्योंकि हम ये नई चीज introduce कर रहे हैं. But overall, SDL is a philosophy. You cannot, for example, restrict medical education to MEUs, right? Or you cannot restrict preventive aspects of medicine to just preventive medicine department. Similarly, SDL cannot be restricted to SDL hours. That would be disastrous. This reminds me of, ड्राइंग टीचर्स. एक बच्चे को जब ड्राइंग क्लासेस में भेजते हैं तो एक टीचर्स ऐसे होते हैं कि बेटा सन तो राउंड ही ड्रॉ करना है और सन में तो येलो कलर ही ड्रॉ करना होता है, रिवर तो ऐसे ही ड्रॉ करनी, पानी तो ब्लू ही होता है, क्लाउड्स तो व्हाइट ही होते हैं. एंड दूसरा ड्राइंग टीचर जो बोलता है कि बेटा तुमको जैसा बनाना है बनाओ, वॉट एवर यू इमेजिन you put it on paper. So this other teacher is trying to foster creativity. अब ये creativity सिर्फ drawing तक ही सीमित रह जाएगी तो उसका मतलब क्या है? That creativity should also expand to other areas of life like dressing or dancing or teaching or learning or anything. Similarly, अगर हम SDL का skill सिखा रहे हैं तो उन सेशंस के बाहर भी बाकी टीचिंग लर्निंग जोन्स में भी वो इम्प्लीमेंट होना चाहिए. So the whole idea is to provide the right environment to foster SDL skills. It can happen in classrooms, it can happen in clinics, it can also happen in canteens over an informal chit chat with students. Classrooms में हम 2 मिनट का कुछ रिफ्लेक्टिव एक्सरसाइज डालेंगे कि what did you learn today, what was the most meaningful thing that you learned today. तो उसमें भी student will have to apply some metacognition, do some reflection, some self-monitoring, self-evaluation. That is also contributing to SDL skill. Clinics में हम case presentations में SNAPS model अगर use करेंगे, which has a component of self-directed learning, reflections लिखवाएंगे ATCOM में, casual conversation में पूछेंगे क्या चल रहा है, कैसा चल रहा है learning. That also allows them to evaluate themselves. So the whole atmosphere, the teaching learning environment should be such that students are allowed to given more opportunities to reflect, self-assess, self-monitor, self-manage. Formative assessments है जैसे curriculum में, we can give choice to our students. How would you like to be assessed? क्लिनिक्स में, इलेक्टिव्स में काफी सारा हम सेल्फ डायरेक्टेड लर्निंग का कंपोनेंट डाल सकते हैं. स्टूडेंट डॉक्टर मेथड में हम बोल सकते हैं कि चलो इसका मैनेजमेंट कैसे करेंगे. यू रिव्यू सम लिटरेचर, दे विल लर्न हाउ टू सर्च फॉर रिसोर्सेज. सो स्मॉल थिंग्स लाइक दैट विल टुगेदर help build their skills of self direction, and that should be the overall idea. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ SDL सेशंस में हम SDL करा रहे हैं और बाकी जैसा चल रहा है वैसा चल रहा है. So with that, I thank you all very much for such a patient listening and for giving me a chance to talk. I love to talk. So thank you very much for listening to me. And I invite Dr. Neeraj sir for his inputs on this topic before we have a question answer session.
Very nice session by Dr. Nilima, and especially the part 2.1 sort of way, not, I will not say new, but the way these points are being highlighted was very impressive. First is that rather than covering the topic SDL skill development should be highlighted. This was brought out very nicely and emphasized a lot. So that point is sort of take home for me. Second point was, in fact, if we see, NMC has said that consider MBBS student in stage 1 or 2. Although Dr. Nilima has emphasized that we should think or decide in a small group which student to be put in stage 1, which to be in stage 2, 3 or 4. So that is also a very nice idea. Because if we see, I remember a fact that applied to all our students. If we see the similarities of our students, they all are dynamic by heart and emotional. That is a common thing among all students. But what is different in student is their attitude and ability in learning. So diversity exists, and this way we can use this diversity. So we should have this skill and competence to use this diversity. So in a small group, this is a good idea that we decide that, okay, this student can be given this point, this student can be considered little higher. So that way we can use it. So this was also a very good point. My own experience is that usually we do only one session. Classically, we should do like session 1, then a gap, then session 2. And some kind of digital documentation can be done. This I have tried because we get some time in SDL sessions. We hand over things to a student, they work on this. So although it is not easy, but we get sort of help from a student. So I have tried to record 3-4 SDL sessions. So then it also become how we have conducted. Sometimes only, for example, only part of topic is covered. We can complement remaining part because that topic eventually will not be covered in class then. So I mean, this takes this is not difficult, but we are not habitual of digital documentation. So this also we can think and we can learn from each other experience. So these are the points I wanted to add. Very nice session as always.